A pleasant good evening and welcome to SAT TV's Channel 9 Evening News. I am your presenter, Larry LaRoque. Thank you for joining us. Among the major developments, police chief says they are striving to solve crime in Dominica. Referendum announced for political status of Falkland Islands. Spain's borrowing costs at a fresh high after Moody's cut. Southern District Primary School's cricket team secures 10-wicket victory. Details of these and other stories after the break. Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. The Dominica Organic Agriculture Movement Inc. DOME is having a number of meetings this week. As part of the annual general meeting on Wednesday, they had preliminary discussions about the movement and how they would like to see it going forward. President of DOME, Mr. Olio Bonio, says they looked at an overview of the organic activity in the Caribbean and some of the preliminary surveys from the local and regional markets and also group certification.
Because DOME is now looking at group certification so that it can sell its organic produce, fresh produce in markets, local markets and also in the regional markets, Martinique and Guadeloupe, Barbados. We then looked at basic soils, and clearly, the soil is the start of anything you produce organically.
Mr. Bonio says he was very delighted at the turnout of the meeting with over 40 persons present and look forward to the formal annual general meeting in the afternoon where he hoped to see more persons present. At the AGM, they will be looking at the short-term, medium-term, and also long-term plans for the movement.
The short-term, medium-term, and long-term. The short-term, again, will concentrate heavily on marketing of fresh produce by our farmers and also certification, because as most people know, in organic agriculture, marketing and certification are very closely together. We are very optimistic by and large about the future of DOME and more importantly the future of organic agriculture in Dominica.
The annual general meeting took place at the Fort Young Hotel on Wednesday, July 13th. The government of Dominica signed contracts with the EduNova Cooperative Limited valued at EC $279,693 EC for consultancies in multi-grade teaching and curriculum development. Mrs. Jennifer Wallace Lafond, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, signed the contract with the Canada-based EduNova, an education and training provider. Honorable Peter Seja, Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, along with Honorable Colin McIntyre and Mrs. Ruth Alport, Minister and Permanent Secretary respectively, in the Ministry of Trade, Employment, Industry and Diaspora Affairs, witnessed the signing. The results of the multi-grade consultancy are expected to assist the Ministry of Education and the Human Resource Development with the effective application of multi-grade teaching methodologies and provide training in best practices and strategies for effective pedagogy in multi-grade schools. EduNova will also assist in the revision of the National Curriculum Framework and the development of a program of study and curriculum guides for selected subjects in key stages 2 and 3. The consultancies fall under the Dominica Education Enhancement Project, DEEP, which seeks to provide comprehensive teacher training and professional development to enhance competencies in key subject areas. DEEP also aims to better equip education practitioners to respond to the challenges of universal education, particularly the need to enhance education outcomes and provide support to students with different learning styles. EduNova will also focus on developing technical and vocational education and training and will then develop programs of study and curriculum guides that will ensure that teaching content and methodology are consistent with the revised National Curriculum Framework. EduNova stated, and I quote, "The professional educators on our team believe that the existence of several ages in one classroom can in fact strengthen the learning experience, and they are proponents including children of different ages in one classroom, with a pedagogy that reflects differentiated learning in all regards." End quote. The consulting team has promised an integrated approach to the two consultancies which would develop the curriculum guides to facilitate multi-grade environments, resulting in a totally inclusive and integrated plan for education. The multi-grade curriculum development consultancies will run until October 2013 and April 2014 respectively. The 16th inaugural meeting for the Soufriere, Scottsdale and Gallia villages was held on June 13th. District Development Officer Mr. Glenroy Tuse says he is very happy that the residents of these villages have turned out in large numbers to support their council, and he hopes that this will continue throughout the duration of this council and many more councils to come.
It's important that you residents, you play your part in the continued growth and development of your council. The 8 councillors alone cannot do it. It takes the entire community, all hands, heads and shoulders have got to be together to ensure that you move the community forward.
Many were called on as administration of oath. Mrs. Felita Paul Thomas administered the oath. Mr. Vince Adams swore first.
I, Vince Adams, do swear that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of a member of the Soufriere Scottsdale Gallia Village Council. So help me God.
Acting Prime Minister Mr. Reginald Ostrich says leadership does not have to be selfish, negative, or in a form where people would all keep to themselves.
Leadership is not for the weak-hearted. Leadership has to be focused. Leadership does not have to be selfish. When you put yourself out to serve your community, you're supposed to drop every other piece of baggage that you carry with you and make the development of a community your major priority. We will have religious differences. We will have political differences. Some of us may even have racial differences. If that is the case, then you go in your little corner and you stay in your little corner and leave the people's business alone. Once you put yourself to serve the public, that is your job to serve the public. And so your attitude has to be different. You have to go through a transformation because you're not the people's master.
In an effort to reduce the instances of crime and violence in Dominica, Chief of Police Superintendent Cyril Carrett says they have a number of new initiatives in place to deal with these issues. One of these initiatives is the increased patrols and random stop and search checks by the police task force, which have proven to be very effective as a number of offensive weapons have been confiscated. Mr. Carrett pointed out that there has also been an improvement in their response in time attending to complaints, while also highlighting 2 major crimes which have been solved, one of which was the robbery of the Muslim store on Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard in Roseau on June 7, 2012.
A team of dedicated officers to include lead investigator Constable Jefferson Drygo successfully brought closure to this matter with the arrest of 5 individuals. 3 of them were charged with burglary, while the other 2 were charged with handling stolen goods. 4 of them, Francis Philip, Darren Humphreys, Kent Collier, and Christopher John Baptist, have all been remanded, while Kathy Thomas was granted bail in the sum of $15,000.
An excess of over $50,000 worth of stolen items have been recovered so far, and the trial into this matter is set for December 10, 2012. Mr. Carrett also reported, due to the hard work of police officers, Jack Joseph, who allegedly murdered Wayne Maxwell, at the Crazy Coconuts on Sunday, June 3rd, have been apprehended and charged with the offense, along with gun and ammunition charges. Jack's brother, Danny Joseph, who was also charged with grievous bodily harm on Omar Thomas, was remanded at the Sock Farm prison. The Chief of Police says the Maritime Unit has realized a number of successes in the constant fight in the war against drugs and drug trafficking.
Having seized 3 open boats valued at about $210,000, 79 rounds of ammunition, and large sums of money totaling $335,260 for the year 2012. The recently formed task force has contributed tremendously to minimizing criminality. It continues to assist several sections and stations in policing events and patrolling the city of Roseau and environs.
Mr. Carrot also reported that the drug unit, which is known as the Drug Squad, also recorded success for 2012 in operations carried out.
It has recorded seizures of 43,318 cannabis trees, 787,327 grams of marijuana weed, cannabis weed, 5.102 grams of cannabis seeds, 9.5 grams of hashish, 1,119.7 grams of cocaine, and 5 weapons.
The chief pointed out that currently there are police officers in Barbados, China, and the United States all undergoing training, which when completed will be beneficial to the police department and the citizens of Dominica. Mr. Carrot went on to say that the cooperation of the public is very important in solving crimes, so anyone who has information on illegal activities is asked to call 1-800-HINT. The Bigger Better Network Digicel, as part of their 6th anniversary, has chosen to touch the lives of some of Dominica's less fortunate. The Infirmary House of Hope, Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, and the Workshop for the Blind are proud recipients of the donations. Ms. Nathalie Walls, the Sales and Marketing Manager of Digicel Dominica Ltd, says as part of their promise to move the country forward in a positive way, they launched the top-up promotion on June 7th to donate 20% of every top-up to a needy charity. She says customers were very excited about the promotion.
The thousands of Digicel prepaid customers who top up their Digicel phones on that day, June 7th, enabled Digicel today to donate a total of $16,000 cash towards the needy organizations.
Ms. Marcel Augustine, Secretary of the House of Hope, says with the help of benefactors like Digicel and others, they were able to put out the House of Hope building.
And the next phase of this project is to construct a building to house senior citizens. Because most times persons go to the infirmary and they are among strangers. But if they are among their own people, the family can visit as often as they want. I think it's going to be better for their health and for everything else.
She wants to assure that the donation will go a long way to keeping the residents safe and in good care. Mrs. Nathalie Murphy, the Executive Director of the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, DAPD, said normally they would be the ones making the appeal, but this time it was Digicel reaching out through them.
I must say that this is not the first time that Digicel is supporting DAPD. They have supported our blind cricket. As a matter of fact, when we introduced blind cricket to Dominica in 2005, Digicel sponsored our live broadcast via UBS Radio, and so we were able to let the world know about blind cricket. And incidentally, this was the first time that blind cricket was being broadcast via radio in the world.
Each charity received $4,000 as part of the promotion. The first major French festival was hosted at the Goodwill Primary School, where many other primary schools participated in the event. The school was filled with students and French displays, as well as supportive parents and teachers. Teacher at the Marigot Primary School, Miss Andrea Andrew, says this is not the first event that the Marigot Primary School has participated in, but it is a great honor to be here. Ms. Andrew goes into further details about her students' presentation.
In a French festival, including a lot of primary schools in Dominica, coming together to do different French performances, singing, poems, dramas, story time.
Okay, could you tell us what the Marigot students did today?
We did a short story time about the ghosts. First we did it in English, then we did it in French with a little display of the students' display. We had a bunch of paintings at the back to show the different parts of the house.
What did the preparations for this go along?
It was very well attended by the students because the thing with French people, they love painting. So we decided we're going to do some paintings for the background. We did a painting of a bedroom, the living room, the dining room, different parts of the house. And then we practiced the student about how to go about dramatizing it. We have a very vibrant drama group at our school.
French coordinator in the Ministry of Education, Ms. Marianne Augustus Francis, says it is a lovely sight to see the students taking an interest in a foreign language, and she applauds the students for their efforts and dedication. Two people were honored for their major contributions which they did in the past and now. They are Madame Sonia Akper and Mrs. Germania Didier. Madame Akper says she has always been in love with the French language and she is to this day, and she also feels honored to be recognized. She believes that French culture is unique as well as interesting. We now go to Ms. Desdin Joseph for tonight's court news.
In court today, Glenn Ridover, Natasha Henry and Francis George of Portsmouth pleaded not guilty to possession of cocaine with intent to supply, and possession of cannabis. Glenn Ridover and Natasha Henry were granted bail in the sum of $5,000 each, with Lennox and Angelina Dover as sureties. The two are to report to the Portsmouth Police Station on Mondays and Fridays every week. Francis George was remanded to custody. The matter is adjourned to July 26, 2012. Michelle Goons of Roseau pleaded guilty to possession of cannabis. The incident occurred on the 12th of June, where the accused was caught with what appeared to be a marijuana cigarette by the police. The police officer asked Mr. Goons to accompany him to the station when he refused. Backup was called and Mr. Goons was taken to the station where he was arrested. He was fined $500 to be paid by July 31st or spend 1 month in prison.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph, for the court news. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.